Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? My name is Tay, and welcome back to my channel, Inspire Me, where I talk about current or relatable topics, all from a godly perspective. And today's topic is called false positive. Now, if you see my video I just did called The Pit, it's pretty much a continuation from that. Now, during that time, I advised to you, I previously applied for the home. Oh no, I called, and then it was some hours later, but then because it was like a whole list of numbers that so I didn't know who the person was or anything, so they called back. It was like, yeah, you called earlier, and to my liking, it was a 3-1. I think it was a home, a house, and then there was a school like they're right down the street when I Googled it. So I'm like, come on, like what is the possibility of, like, come on God. Like when I say I was so happy. So I did the application, did the process. It took a little minute because I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna just say that it took like a few weeks, about 2 weeks. Like, that's submitted to me. I needed to go ASAP, so about 2 to 3 weeks. So finally, when I sent over my income, and then also too, with a lot of these places, you gotta do an application fee. So I had to pay an application fee too. And then also because I wasn't in that area, I had to like mail it off, and I couldn't see the place in person. Like when you wanna walk through and see the place before you get it and you look at it, do the application. Well, I can't do. All I could do is just Google it and see how it pretty much looks. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that, or whatever. I sent the application fee and the application and everything like that. I think the application I sent it via email, but the application fee I sent it through mail, and it was no small fee at all. So it took like a week. They didn't get in touch with me. So I'm like, okay, yeah, what's the hold up? Well, I ain't say it like that, but you pretty much asked them like, what's the status? And they pretty much said to me like, you got denied because of insufficient funds, and you gotta be able to make this payment. And lo and behold, I'm like, okay, I will be able to make. Anyways, lo and behold, it didn't work out. So I'm like, God, like, why did I feel like it could have been you, but why did these people call me? Because they didn't have to call me back. Because like I said, I called a whole bunch of numbers. I left a message, and they didn't have to call back, but they called back, and it was like false hope. I'm thinking like, okay, God, you don't look at you, don't really bless me. Like I got a 3-1, a house, and then a school like right down the street. Like God, you really doing it, but it turned out to be a no. So I was thinking like during that process that like God will miraculously touch the landlord heart, and they would say, okay, it's no applications, or the other applications failed, and pretty much just show me favor and say, okay, you get another chance. But lo and behold, that didn't happen. So I'm like, God, this feel like a false positive. If a woman that's pregnant, I'm not talking about a woman that's like, always having babies and stuff like that, so they're easily get pregnant. I'm talking about a woman who's been trying to get pregnant for the longest, and it's hard for them to get pregnant. I know because I was that person. It took like 2 years before I had my firstborn. I tried for the 2 years. I thought something was wrong with me, and I didn't know what was going on. So like how my menstrual is, not trying to get out of, you feel me, but how it is, it comes on late. Like it's been like that for a while. Like even when I was younger, it comes on late. You know how some people, they probably tell when they're pregnant because they're menstrual late. Well, with me, it comes on late, and even when I was like a preteen, it was to the point, it was so bad I used to throw up. A person would literally think like, okay, no, I just had a bad menstrual cycle. Like, oh Jesus. But like I said, when I got older, probably like when yeah, but yeah, before I had kids, but that's when it kind of like slowed down, like from when I was younger. But like I said, it used to come on late to the point where it's like, yeah, is you pregnant? But it just came on late. So I remember one time, I know I'm not trying to like go off on a tangent about this, but yeah, it pretty much just wanna, you feel me? It's nothing that I heard or anything. It's something that I dealt with. So I remember my kid's father told me like to take the test, and he told me, of course, a couple of times, but it's like I told him like, come on, my menstrual late, so you already know I ain't pregnant, so it is what it is. Like, don't get your hopes up and stuff like that, because we went down that road a lot of times, so I didn't want to get his hopes up or anything like that. So, lo and behold, I still took a test. He looked at it first, and he walked away, like, kind of like sad a little bit. So me, I don't know why I looked at it. I could have just took his word for it, and I would have, but I just want to look at it too. So when I looked at it, I saw 2 lines. I said, "Wait a minute." When I see, I got so happy. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pregnant. And like we both started like, you feel me, was all happy doing like the happy dance, and it was just so good. But you know, just because that 6A positive, you gotta confirm it by going to the doctor, the real doctor. So I went to the emergency room. I don't know, I don't think it was the same day, but I went to there and they was pretty much telling me like, you gotta be careful with this pregnancy. They pretty much had something negative to say. Lo and behold, my pregnancy was great. I was not at high risk. I even actually worked full term. I was doing housekeeping, so I had to bend over and clean up behind like blood and different things like that. And I just felt grossed out. But and that even was exposed to like me. If it's not cleaned up with bleach, I don't really like it. Like first we had to clean up with bleach, which I love. And then they had switched, I think, vinegar. I said, I can't get jiggy with this. Like I do not want to be smelling no vinegar. So they switched it back to bleach. And like I said, it was strong, and I didn't too much. I wore a mask, I think, because I had to wear a mask. But yeah, a lot of times I didn't wear a mask, and it's just a blessing that my baby came out healthy. It's a blessing. Glory to God for that. So what I'm saying is, when a woman tries to get pregnant, and they take that test, that the P test, and it's like, okay, it's positive, and they get all happy and stuff. But say for, like I said, I got happy. But say for instance, if the doctor, even though the doctor did tell me negative news, I got sad. But if he just said that to somebody else, like, you're really not, and they thought they was, imagine how happy they was, and then how sad they will be. So I felt sad when the people called me and gave me the information about the house. I was so happy, like, God, like, come on, it's a dream come true. But when I got denied, it felt like a false positive, like, okay, it's not working out. So then I told you about the other place I applied for. Now it did meet God's criteria, what type of home He said, but they, lo and behold, when I had that dream, when I took Georgia, I had a dream, and the dream told me beforehand, before they even told me, like, okay, you're gonna get denied. So with that, they called me on 3/21, and it was like later on in that day, a day after business hours it's closed. So when they called me, I'm like, this gotta be God. Like, you did it, God, on 3/21. Instead of you doing it 3/20, you did it 3/21. Now the reason why I say 3/21, you gotta look at her video. I think her name is Alyssa Dene. Oh, but I'll try to link it. But that video is just so good, and she talks about her testimony, how God blessed her with an apartment. And during that time, some years ago when I watched it, but during that time, I was trying to look for a place. I think that's when I had my place, and when I was finna move soon. So yeah, that was way long ago. But that testimony really blessed me. And like, she had an option to get an apartment for apartment. It was on the 3rd floor. It was 320 and 321, but she chose 320. And then her friend was pretty much saying like, no, you got to go back, because her friend wanted her to get 320 because she thought about Ephesians 3:20, and she was like, no, I feel like God told me specifically to get 321. So they looked at it by way Ephesians 3:21. And it pretty much says, to God be glory. So I said, okay, God, you wanted to get the glory, because, so that's why that happened. Why they called me on 3/21. I also did a video, then I didn't release, because I felt like God would have give me the green light, and I would have got approved. So I did that video, praying and hoping that, God would make a way for me. And lo and behold, the next day I got that dream, and like an hour later, that's when I got the email saying, you got denied. So I said, God, another false positive. God, what is going on? I keep getting these false positives. I don't like it whatsoever. Like, these people didn't have to call me, because it's been a while since they called me. I thought they wasn't gonna call me at all, and then they automatically just called me and did my application. And then also too, there was another fee I had to pay. It was a little lesser than the first fee I paid, but it was another fee that I lost. And once you don't get approved, they don't get that money back. So that's money that I lost, and then money I lost from the other place. So I'm like, God, I'm losing money left and right. keep getting false positive. Like something has to give. Something has to give. But you all know, whenever you get a false positive, whenever you've been trying to get pregnant for the longest, it may not be your time right now. It might be later, like 2 years before I got pregnant. It wasn't my time. But 2 years later, I got pregnant. It was my time. So I'm not saying with y'all, it might be 2 years. It could be sooner or it could be later. With Sarah, she got pregnant years after years after years after years. She was in 90 something. And I know back then you lived a long time, so you know that. But there's people I be saying like nowadays, like a woman like 50 who pregnant. It could be older than that. Now, God, I'm not trying to be that old pregnant. No, but I'm saying like with them, God can do it. There's no limited time with Him. However, what I'm pretty much trying to say is, when you're trying to get pregnant, there's going to be a time when your time comes. Now, I'm not talking about the woman who never got pregnant in her life. There probably was a reason that God didn't allow for them to get pregnant. I don't know. God knows ahead of time. So, but I'm talking about those who have been trying, and God's going to bless you. Like God gave you a word that He's going to give you kids. I'm going to put it like that. Because some people, he may never give kids. And I know personally that some people who don't have kids. But if God gave you that promise that you're going to have kids, just know that that false positive is going to turn into a true positive. I mean, it doesn't matter if you keep getting no after no and you thinking that it's a yes, but it actually turns out to be a no. Just don't give up. Just know your time is going to come. Just know that false positive is going to turn into a true positive, and that's what God told me. Don't give up. So that's pretty much all I had to say regarding that, y'all. Make sure you like, make sure you share it, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.